Hello everybody, here's your weekly horoscope. Aries, you've been plotting some major career or lifestyle shifts since the spring. You know that you have the skill, but do you have the courage to put yourself out there? As Pluto stations direct in your public image sector on the 8th, you are ready to stop vision boarding and start doing the thing. It can be terrifying to tap into your power, but you must get what you want. And so, this week's mantra for you is Rise. Taurus, so much of your life over the past year, and actually over the past decade, has been dedicated towards expanding your mind. Whether you're on a spiritual path, deep into graduation work, or bridging the cultural gaps in your family, there's always a learning curve. As Mercury connects with Pluto on the 6th, you're reminded of how to make these tasks less about work and more about fun. Remember that you're doing this because you want to. This week's mantra for you is Play. Geminis, Mercury retrograde finally ends on the 2nd, which is great news for you. You spent the last few weeks remembering things from the past that brought joy. And now it's time to integrate things you want to keep in your presence. As Mercury connects with Pluto on the 6th, you get one more interesting revelation in the form of a family secret. It could be dramatic, or it could be your grandmother's favorite soup recipe. Make some comfort food and reflect on what you've gathered. This week's mantra for you is Dig. Cancerians, for the last year, or maybe the last decade, it's felt like your commitments are constantly crumbling. Maybe your romantic partnerships are steady, but your business contracts are perpetually falling apart, or vice versa. As Pluto stations direct on the 8th, you find the courage to advocate for what you want in an ongoing conflict or negotiation. Relationships require collaboration, so don't deny your own opinions and power. This week's word for you is Advocate. Leos, Mercury stations direct in your money sector on the 2nd, bringing your attention to some financial obligations you left hanging back at the end of August. Sometimes, the problem is solved through cutting down on spending or picking up a side hustle, but other times, you need to ask for more. As Mercury connects with Pluto on the 6th, you get a clear message that it's time to ask for a raise, and there's nothing wrong with it. This week's word for you is Earn. Virgos, Mercury retrograde is finally over on the 2nd. This is sweet relief, as this one has been almost too personal for you. You've spent a few weeks caught up in some very existential questions like, who am I really and what do I even need? Take some time this week to write down all that you've uncovered in this time and review it, so you can move ahead with clarity and positive intentions, Virgo. This week's word for you is Accept. Libras, it feels like your home has been in flux for a past year or maybe the past decade, Libra. Lately, it's that your apartment is in desperate needs of repair, but contracting your landlord seems like a losing battle. As Pluto stations direct on the 8th, you are pulled to take initiative and ask for what you want, even if it makes others feel uncomfortable. Request what you need to feel more at home. That's at least in your hands. This week's word for you is Nest. Scorpions, your top priority is being a loyal friend. But for the past year, or maybe the last decade, it's been painfully clear that not everyone you let into your immediate circle deserves such a coveted space in your life. As Mercury connects with Pluto on the 6th, you have a lovely evening with neighbors or co-workers that inspire you to let them into your more intimate world. And it's okay to take a chance on someone new. So this week's word for you is connect. Sagittarians. As Mercury stations direct on the 2nd, you realize that a relationship you've been prioritizing isn't what it seems. Whether it's romance or business alliance, a conversation is necessary to get back on the same page. Think back to the end of August. What was said then that led you to this place now? How can you course correct without hurting someone's feelings? This week's word for you is define. Capricornians. Your power time is now. Pluto stations direct in your sign on the 8th, increasing your visibility and influence, both at work and in your personal life. This is a moment for rebranding, whether that's editing your resume, changing your Instagram handle, or going for that extreme haircut you always wanted. Not everyone will love the changes that you make, but as long as you're making these choices with integrity, you will be magnetic. This week's word for you is shine. Aquarians. Mercury stations retrograde on the 2nd, and while this might come as a relief to most of your friends and family, you're sitting with something heavy right now. As Mercury connects with Pluto on the 6th, you reach a breakthrough in therapy or through conversation with a trusted friend that helps you realize some of the baggage. When it feels like too much to hold, you must let go of what you can't control. This week's word for you is release. Pisces. Relationships have been heavy on your mind for the last few weeks, and this week is no different. As Mercury retrograde ends on the 2nd, you get back into a conversation with your lover or business partner that began at the end of August. It was frustrating to sit in the grey area of uncertainty for this long, but both your feelings and perspective have changed for the better. This week's word for you is keep talking. That was all for weekly horoscopes. Thank you so much for joining with Guruji Astro. Let's meet you in another video. Till then, take care and have a wonderful day.